My girlfriend insisted I apologize to her male best friend for upsetting him. I agreed. I visited his home, and in front of his partner, I said, "I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry I kept quiet about the affair you had last summer. I should have never hidden that truth for you. Let me back up. My girlfriend Rosie has a best friend named Adam. Their bond I legendary. A mutual admiration society where they're the only members, endlessly praising each other's brilliance. Adam is married to a kind, reserved woman named Isabella, who watches their dynamic with the tired patients Ofa, librarian overseeing 2 rowdy kids. I've always felt like an outsider in my own relationship. Adam's input is required for everything, from the type-off tea we drink to the places we vacation. He has a key to our apartment, a just-in-case privilege Rosie demanded, and he uses it to barge in without warning. He's smug, patronizing, and he's a knack for disguising insults as helpful suggestions. Rosie defends his every misstep with a devotion that's both bewildering and infuriating. Last summer, everything changed. Rosie forced him to join Adam for a guy's night out. A torturous ordeal, I was supposed. Tone joy. After several expensive drinks that I paid for, Adam got loose. Alcohol and arrogance took over. Heck confessed he was cheating on his wife. He actually chuckled about it, reveling in the thrill of his betrayal. He saw me as harmless, Rosie's steady, inconsequential boyfriend. The next morning, a frantic hung-over Adam called me, begging me to erase his confession from my memory, pleading with him to keep it from everyone, especially Rosie and Isabella. I agreed. It wasn't my role to unravel his life. But here's the thing. I'm a man who believes in mutually assured destruction. I didn't view the secret as a burden. I saw it as leverage, tucked away for a moment I hoped I'd never need to use. That moment occurred last Tuesday. I had committed an unforgivable offense. I hurt Adam's feelings. My crime. I politely asked him to text before using his key to enter our apartment. He'd walked in on me fresh out of the shower the previous day. The reaction was apocalyptic. Rosie accused me of being petty, insecure, trying to undermine her close friendship. Adam played the wounded poet, claiming he felt rejected and criticized in our home. This led to a theatrical, tear-filled confrontationist night. Rosie and Adam sat me down, a united front of exaggerated grievance. "You owe him an apology," David Rosie said, arms folded. "A genuine, heartfelt apology. You made him feel like an outsider in his best friend's life." I stared at them. The sheer dramaticalness of it was almost poetic. "Fine," I said, my voice heavy with ex-Houston. But a simple, "I'm sorry" wasn't enough for Rosie. She demanded a grand act of contrition. "Not here," she insisted. "You need to go to his house, apologize in his home in front of his wife. So Isabella knows you respect the connection we all share." She wanted witnesses. She wanted me humiliate her for another woman, cementing my place as the subordinate in their little group. A slow, dangerous grin spread across my face. It was the most perfectly ironic setup I'd ever been handed. She'd given me the key, the stage, and the audience. "Okay," I said, dripping with mock defeat. "I'll go to his house and apologize. It's the right thing to do." Rosie's face lit up with victorious satisfaction. Adam smirked, basking in his triumph. They thought they were about to witness my capitulation. They had no idea they were about to star in a public reckoning. The apology was set for Saturday evening. Rosie spent 2 days coaching me on what to say. A masterclass in self-important trill. I was to admit my jealousy, lauded Adam's unwavering loyalty to a relationship, vow to be more welcoming, distrusting, moving forward. I nodded along, memorizing my lines like an actor preparing for a performance. On Saturday, I made one critical call before we left. I phoned Isabella. "Hi, Isabella." "It's David," said, warm and friendly. "Just checking we're still good for 7 tonight. I really want to clear things up with Adam and ensure we're all on the same page. It's so important to me that we're one big happy family." Isabella sounded delighted. "Of course, David, we'll see you then." My audience is secured. We arrived at their house at 7 sharp. Rosie was practically buzzing with smug anticipation. She was about to see me humbled. Adam opened the door, his face radiating magnanimous fortunateness. Ready to graciously accept me groveling, Isabella welcomed us in, offering drinks. Unaware of the drama about to unfold, we gathered in their living room. The air was heavy with tense expectation. Rosie gave me a sharp nod, the signal to begin. I stood and faced Adam. I took a deep, dramatic breath. Adam, I began, voice thick with rehearsed sincerity. We're here because I owe you an apology. I've been unfair and haven't been a true friend to you, Rosie beamed. Adam puffed up, ready to receive his victory. You've been a constant in our lives. I continued, turning to include Isabella in my gaze. Andy haven't always valued the bond you share with Rosie. For that, I'm truly sorry. I stepped to the center of their room near the fireplace. Then I did it. I dropped to one knee. Rosie let out a smile, gasp, thrilled by what she thought was my ultimate surrender. But I didn't look at Adam. I locked eyes with Isabella, her kind, unsuspecting face. Isabella, I said, my voice now clear and resolute, my real apology is to you, because the worst thing I've done, the biggest mistake was keeping a secret from you. Isabella's smile wavered, confusion creeping in. Adam's face froze. Rosie looked like she'd been struck. I'm so sorry, Isabella, I said, voice raw, with conviction. I'm sorry I didn't tell Yao about the affair Adam had last summer with a woman from his PR firm. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the hotel room paid for in cash or the burner email boasted about. He told me everything in drunken night and made me swear to keep it secret. And I did. I should have never kept that from you. That was my failure as a friend, and I'm begging your forgiveness. The silence that followed was absolute. A vacuum where sound itself seemed to die. The quiet of a bomb exploding in a sealed vault. Isabella stared at me, her face blank with shock. Then slowly she turned to her husband. Adam was ghostly pale, eyes wide with primal fear. Rosie broke first. What are you doing? She screamed, leaping to her feet. He's lying. He's making this up, tossed by me. I didn't even glance at her. I stayed on one knee, eyes fixed on Isabella. I pulled out my phone and opened a single screenshot. Holding it out for Isabella to see, it was from the morning after Adam's confession. After he begged me to stay silent, I'd send him a text to lock in a record. The message read, I won't tell anyone about your affair, but you owe me. His reply was, short and damning. Thanks, man. It's done. Never mention it again. Isabella looked at the screenshot. She saw her husband's name on the screen, and in thought moment she knew. She knew it was true. I stood. I surveyed the chaos I'd unleashed. Rosie was shrieking at me. Adam was stammering, trying to cobble together a denial that would never hold. And Isabella? Isabella sat silently, a single tear tracing down her cheek. My apologies done, I said quietly. Then I turned, walked out, and shut the door on the explosion. The immediate fallout was a frenzied battle, fought through text and voicemails. I drove home, blocked Rosie's and Adam's numbers, and watched the chaos unfold from afar. The first wave came from Rosie's friends, no doubt relayed by her hysterical calls from Adam's driveway. Their messages were a mix of outrage and bewilderment. What you did was cruel, David. Why would you invent such a story? I responded to each with the same devastating weapon. That screenshot of my text exchange with Adam. No explanation, just the image. The angry messages stopped abruptly, replaced by silence. The truth is a powerful silencer. The second wave came from Rosie through a flurry of desperate emails. Her tone cycled through these stages of grief. First, denial. You're a liar, and I'll never forgive you for this disgusting fabrication. Then anger. I hope you're proud of yourself. You've destroyed everything. Then bargaining. If you admit you made it up, we can still fix this. Then despair. I can't believe this is happening. Finally, a warped acceptance. Fine. Maybe Adam slipped up, but you didn't have to ruin his life to get back at me. I didn't respond to any of them. The real story, the one that mattered, came unexpectedly. 2 days later, Isabella Amaladim. Her message was brief but profound. David, I don't know whether to thank you or resent you, but you told me the truth, which is more than my husband has done in a year. I found the hidden bank statements. It was all true. He's not living here anymore. I've hired a lawyer. I just wanted you to know. Andy, I'm sorry for what Rosie and Adam put you through. You deserve better. Fate mail was my validation. I hadn't just exacted revenge. I performed an accessory, if brutal, act of honesty. With my moral ground secured, I tackled the practical fallout. Rosie was still in me apartment. I had my lawyer draft a formal eviction notice, giving her their required 30 days to leave. The lease was in my name alone, and I wanted the process airtight. She turned the apartment into a battlefield, blasting music at all hours, leaving spiteful notes on the counter. It was petty and sad. I ignored it, staying at a friend's place to let her simmer in her own toxicity. Her final act was an attempt to steal from me. The day before her move-out deadline, I stopped by with a friend to check on her packing. I caught her trying to load my high-end TV and speakers into her car. I didn't raise my voice. I just stood there, arms crossed. That's not yours, Rosie. I paid for half, she yelled. No, you didn't, I replied kimly. I have the bank statement showing. I paid in full. Put it back, Oriel. Call the police and show them they're psyched. Adding theft to your recent achievements. Defeated, she returned THETV. The next day, she was gone. I walked into my apartment, and for the first time in years, it was calm. It was peaceful. It was mine. It's been 6 months since I knelt and delivered my apology. The dust has settled, and my life is better than I could have dreamed. The consequences for Rosie and Adam, however, have been absolute and permanent. Adam's world is in ashes. Isabella, armed with proof of his affair and financial deceit, was merciless in the divorce. She took the house, a hefty share of his assets, and custody off their cat. Adam now lives in a cramped, baited apartment, paying alimony and wallowing in misery. His reputation in their social circle is ruined. He's no longer the charismatic star. He's the disgraced cheater exposed for all to see. As for Rosie, her life has crumbled slowly and painfully. After being evicted from my apartment, she turned to Adam for support. But he, consumed by his own collapsing life, had no room for her drama. Their epic friendship, built in mutual flattery and disdain for me, couldn't withstand reality's harsh glare. They reportedly had a massive filling out, each blaming the other for their downfall. With no fiancé, no best friend, and no home, Rosie had to move back with her parents. Her attempts to paint me as the villain fell flat. The screenshot of Adam's text was irrefutable proof I hadn't lied. She was revealed as someone who not only enabled her friend's betrayal, but demanded I apologize for questioning his disrespect. She lost all credibility. Last I heard, she's still with her parents, working a low-level PR job. Her on's glamorous life of fading memory, she tried to punish me for a perceived slight and lost everything in the process. As for me, I'm flourishing. The first thing I did after reclaiming my apartment was change the locks, a symbolic act of reclaiming my space and setting boundaries that will never be crossed again. I've thrown myself into me work, and the tranquility in my personal life has fueled my creativity and productivity. I also reconnected with Isabella a few months after the incident. She reached out to thank me again. We met for coffee, just as friends. We shared a unique bond. We'd both been betrayed by the same two people. We talked for hours, open and honest. That coffee led to dinner a week later. And dinner has grown into something more. It's new. It's cautious, but it's genuine. It's built on shared pain and a commitment to truth. We both know the sting of deception, and we are determined never to inflict it on each other. Rosie demanded I kneel and beg. She wanted a display of my submission. She got her spectacle, but it was here on public downfall. She thought she was directing the show, but I'd written the final act. She wanted me to apologize for wounding her best friend's ego. Instead, I apologized for keeping his secrets.